So you've got players who want to play something that's not human, but they don't really want to accept what it is to not be human. They don't want to get completely into these alien mindsets, to have this kind of awkwardness whenever there is this vastly different culture that they're interacting with. How do people perceive them and all these kinds of things? These are considerations that they really don't want to have, but they don't really want to be human. They want to be a dwarf, at least superficially, or they want to be an elf, at least superficially. They like these little qualities that they get. They like the better search checks. They like the infravision. They like these things, but they're not really interested in really getting into that headspace. What do you do? Well, this is something that I've been thinking about, and really, this is probably going to be an unsatisfactory answer to a lot of people, because a lot of people, they are just going to want to be very pure about it, and I completely understand that. They're going to want to just tell the players, look, either you play a human or you play something that's not a human. You don't have it both ways. That is a completely fine answer, but this is something for maybe those who want to meet them halfway. And I'm not saying that that's a virtuous thing, that that's the best thing, but it is a thing that you can do. So, what I would consider is I would consider looking at the Appendix N literature that a lot of these things come from. And I'm going to give Three Hearts and Three Lions as a main example. So, in Three Hearts and Three Lions, your elves are bizarre, to say the least. They are not even close to being human. They have, they're the polar opposite of human in a lot of ways. They are cosmically aligned in the complete opposite direction. They are chaos creatures. They are chaos creatures. They are the antithesis of the growth of civilization, and they can't even bear to hear the names of lawful deities. They will turn and flee. This is something that you can actually see in Three Hearts and Three Lions, what looks like basically a turn undead, but used on fairies, which, by the way, in Dungeon Crawl Classics, you can use turn unholy to do such things like that if your deity doesn't like them or they don't like your deity. Either way. So that is one of the things that makes fairies or Pharisees or elves, as they really are in Three Hearts and Three Lions, stand out. Another thing is that they can't bear the touch of iron. They have these very interesting cultures. I mean, they are going buck wild in there. They will entice you, they will enslave you, and they will kill you. They are lethal alien creatures in so many ways, but they're just so interesting. You just want to be around them until it's too late. That is what I think you could do with your game. You could have that be what elves really are. Those are the real elves, the elves that never left their civilization, that retain all of the vestiges of who they always have been. And then those elves that did leave, that did become, they got cast out for one reason or another. Maybe they're the first generation, second, third, fourth, who knows how long they've been separated from their kind, but being in civilization has polluted them. It has diluted what it was to be an elf. Their features physically have diminished. Their own abilities, their traits, the things that make them so different in how they act, and all of that has diminished. There's still vestiges of that there for them to explore, for them to highlight. Maybe dwarves are still kind of drunks. Maybe they're still a little bit gold hungry. Maybe there's some of those things, but they're nothing like these dwarves off in the mountains that had never left their civilization, with these great flowing massive beards and just this complete bizarre code of honor that they have to abide by, or else they will be killed on the spot. You can just go insane with these things and make it so that whenever your players encounter these dwarves and these elves and these halflings, maybe they're just the most extreme version of Shire hobbits you can possibly think of, then they're going to feel like those are real fantastical creatures. And maybe they're going to see that and they're going to think, maybe I could do that. Maybe that's something, maybe I could stand to make my characters in the future a little bit more fantastical whenever I'm not playing a human. And maybe humans, there's a little bit more to them than I thought there were. But anyway, that's all I have to say about this. Just a thought. Try it out, perhaps. throw it away. I don't really care. It's something that I did very early on whenever I DM'd my very first campaign. I was influenced, I guess, by Dragon Age RPG, not Dragon Age RPG, Dragon Age, the video games, because I had what was kind of like my version of the Dalish, and then we had, city elves. That's a very it's basically another way of looking at it. The city elves are pretty standard, mostly kind of human-like in a lot of ways. But the Dalish elves, they have their much more distinct culture. They have their gods. They have their tattoos. They are just very different people. And to me, I was like, I'm going to take that. And then I made it so that the people off in civilization, the humans, they all believe that elves that lived out in the woods were these horrible, murderous cannibals. And who knows what they're really like? Nobody ever lives to tell the tale of what they're really like. And so then whenever the players actually go and explore and they encounter these elves that obviously are not like the elves that they normally see, then they're left wondering, what the hell are we really encountering? And I like that. That's all I have to say. Y'all have a fantastic day. Take care of yourselves, and peace.